Welcome to our deep dive into the evolution of learning technology.
Ah, yes.
We're going on a journey through time,
Okay.
exploring how humans have learned from ancient times to today's AI-powered world.
Sounds fun.
Along the way,
Yeah.
we'll uncover some surprising parallels between past anxieties about learning and current AI debates,
Interesting.
and even get a glimpse into what the future might hold for education.
I'm excited.
Me too.
So where should we start?
Well, I think it's fascinating to consider Socrates and his skepticism of the written word.
Oh, that's a great place to begin.
He worried that writing would make people appear wise without actually fostering deep understanding.
Yeah, Socrates believed that relying on external symbols like writing could actually weaken our internal capacity for memory and true knowledge.
It's almost like he was anticipating concerns we have today about passive learning in the digital age.
Right.
We're bombarded with information, but are we truly engaging with it?
That's a great
Are
point.
we just skimming the surface,
Yeah.
mistaking the collection of facts for real understanding?
It's a challenge Socrates probably couldn't have imagined, but the core concern remains strikingly similar.
It really highlights how this whole debate about technology and learning isn't new.
Sure.
It's been going on for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Each wave of technology forces us to re-examine what it means to learn and to know.
Exactly. And the printing press is a perfect example of that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's often compared to AI today
Yeah.
in its potential to democratize knowledge.
It's mind-blowing to think how the printing press fueled the Renaissance and the Enlightenment,
Yes, it did.
sparking these incredible intellectual and cultural shifts.
It really changed everything.
It allowed for the spread of ideas and knowledge on a scale never seen before.
And now we're seeing similar potential with AI.
Exactly. It's a really fascinating parallel.
But of course, just as the printing press wasn't perfect, AI comes with its own set of challenges. One of those is making sure this democratization of knowledge doesn't lead to a superficial understanding, what Socrates called that conceit of wisdom.
Right, and our source material touches on that. There's this quote that stood out to me. This tool may be more like the printing press, which led to democratization of knowledge and did not eliminate the need for human writing skills,
Interesting.
which makes me think that AI might actually enhance those core skills, not make them obsolete.
That's a hopeful perspective.
Here it is.
I think it's crucial to remember that just as the printing press didn't replace the need for thoughtful writing and analysis, AI won't replace the need for critical thinking, creativity, and human connection in education.
We need to find that balance, right?
Absolutely.
Leveraging the power of technology, but staying true to the core values of human learning.
I couldn't agree more.
So let's talk about human-in-the-loop AI design.
Okay.
This term comes up a lot in our sources.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, in essence, human-in-the-loop AI design means that humans are actively involved in every stage of AI development and implementation.
Right.
It's not about just handing teachers an AI program and saying, go with it.
Right.
Teachers need to understand how the AI works,
Okay.
what data it's using,
Makes sense.
and ultimately have the power to say, this isn't working for my students,
I like that.
and choose a different approach.
So it's about making sure teachers stay in control,
Yes,
use their judgment,
absolutely.
guiding how AI is used in the classroom.
Precisely. And this connects back to what we were discussing about the printing press, right?
Yeah, it does.
Technology in itself is a tool,
It is.
and its impact depends on how it's used, who's wielding it.
And in education, the most skilled wielders of these tools are teachers.
I agree.
Let's fast forward now to the 20th century
Okay.
and the rise of radio and television. It's so interesting how they were initially seen as revolutionary tools for education.
Right, promising to bring knowledge to the masses.
Yeah, there was so much optimism about the possibilities.
There was, but as we learned, especially from what happened in developing countries, technology alone isn't a silver bullet.
Right. Our sources pointed to some key challenges that emerged. Issues with practical access, cost, and even resistance from educators who preferred more traditional methods.
That's interesting.
I think those challenges offer valuable insights into the current AI discussion.
You're right. It's a reminder that the success of any educational technology, it doesn't just depend on the technology itself,
Right.
but also on things like infrastructure, teacher training, social acceptance,
Yeah.
and how well it's integrated into existing systems.
Which brings us to AI's potential impact on education.
Yes.
What do you think about the comparisons being made between AI and the printing press?
Well, I do see some parallels.
Okay.
Both have the potential to democratize access to information and knowledge,
Right.
which could lead to significant shifts in how we learn and teach.
Yep.
But it's crucial to remember that AI, like any technology, it's a double-edged sword.
That's a good point.
It's not inherently good or bad.
Right.
Its impact depends entirely on how we choose to develop and use it.
And speaking of choosing how to use I was really struck by this idea of AI promoting a fearless learning environment,
Oh, that's an interesting concept.
especially when it comes to developing soft skills, things like communication and critical thinking.
Yes, I see what you mean.
Could you elaborate on that a bit?
Of course.
I'm really intrigued by it.
Well, you see, one of the biggest barriers to learning, especially for skills that require you to put yourself out there, is the fear of judgment or failure.
I can see that.
And AI can help create a more supportive, less intimidating learning environment.
How so?
By providing constructive feedback without that social pressure that can come from a human evaluator. Imagine a student practicing public speaking with an AI coach.
Okay. Yeah.
That coach can analyze their tone, pace, body language, and give them personalized suggestions for improvement.
And they don't have to worry about feeling embarrassed.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is.
It's like having a personalized coach available 24/7, ready to help without any judgment.
That's precisely the idea.
I love that.
And personalized support is something that AI excels at.
For sure.
Which brings us to the topic of personalized learning systems.
Okay, let's talk about that.
They're a prime example of how AI can tailor education to each student's needs and pace.
And that's so important, right?
It is.
Because every student learns differently
Yes, they do.
and at their own pace.
Exactly. And these personalized learning systems can empower learners to progress without feeling rushed or left behind.
It's like AI can create these individualized learning pathways that cater to different learning styles and preferences,
Absolutely.
which makes a lot of sense.
It does, and this personalized approach is actually supported by pedagogical theory.
Really?
Research has shown that individualized feedback is incredibly effective for learning.
That's interesting.
And AI can provide that feedback in real time, adapting to the student's progress, offering support when they need it.
It's like having a personal tutor for every student,
That's a great way to put it.
which traditionally has only been accessible to a very privileged few.
You're right.
So AI has the potential to make this level of personalized support much more widely available.
Yes, it does. And AI can also help bridge the gap between what we know about effective teaching and learning
Okay,
and what's practically feasible in a traditional classroom.
I see.
It can automate some of the tedious tasks of teaching, things like grading and assessment,
Right.
which frees up educators to focus on building relationships with students and providing that personalized guidance.
So again, it's not about replacing teachers,
No, not at all.
but about empowering them to
Exactly.
be more effective
Yes,
and to create a more equitable learning environment for everyone.
that's the goal.
And speaking of equity, I'd love to talk about how AI can address global education inequality.
Well, that's a crucial topic.
One area that I'm really excited about is AI-powered translation.
I can see why.
Making quality educational content accessible in multiple languages, that could be transformative.
Imagine the possibilities.
I know, right?
Students in remote villages in Nepal could access world-class educational resources
Wow.
translated into their native language.
It's incredible.
Children in refugee camps could continue their education,
Right.
even if they've been displaced from their home countries.
AI could break down these language barriers and create a more inclusive and accessible global learning community.
That's a powerful vision.
It really is.
And it's not just about translating content. AI can also be used to develop teacher coaching and lesson planning tools.
Right, which would be especially valuable in areas where teachers might not have access to traditional professional development opportunities.
Exactly.
Our source material highlights some really impactful, real-world examples of this happening.
Oh, there are some inspiring initiatives going on around the world.
Tell me about them.
For instance, in Sierra Leone, they're using a program called Teacher AI
Okay.
to assist educators with lesson planning and personalized instruction.
That's amazing.
And in Kenya, they have EIDU, an AI-powered platform that delivers personalized learning content to students.
Wow.
And in Pakistan, Teletalim is using AI to provide remote learning opportunities.
These are all incredible examples.
They are, and they show how AI is already making a tangible difference in bridging the global education gap.
It's so encouraging to see these innovations happening.
It is.
It's a powerful reminder that technology, when used thoughtfully and ethically, can truly be a force for good.
Couldn't agree more.
But we have to remember that AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for teachers.
That's essential to keep in mind.
We can't fall into the trap of thinking that technology can solve all our problems.
Right. The human element will always be crucial in education.
Absolutely. It's about fostering those human connections,
Yes.
inspiring a love of learning, and nurturing the social-emotional development of our students.
No algorithm can replace that.
Agreed. And our source material really emphasizes that point.
It does.
It talks about the importance of human-in-the-loop AI design.
Right.
It's a reminder that teachers need to be actively involved in shaping how AI is used in their classrooms.
Yes.
They need to understand the technology, be able to critically evaluate its effectiveness, and ultimately retain control over how it's implemented. So it's about finding that balance, that sweet spot where AI enhances teaching and learning, but doesn't undermine those core values of education.
Exactly.
Now, before we move on to the future of the classroom, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about AI being a double-edged sword.
Of course.
What are some of the potential risks or challenges that we need to be mindful of as we integrate AI into education?
That's a great question and one that deserves careful consideration.
Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest concerns is the potential for bias in AI algorithms.
That's a valid concern.
You see, these algorithms are trained on data.
Right.
And if that data reflects existing societal biases, those biases can be amplified and perpetuated by the AI.
That makes sense.
And that could lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes for certain groups of students.
Can you give an example?
Sure, imagine an AI system that's used to assess students' writing skills.
Okay.
If that system was trained on data that mostly featured essays written by students from a particular socioeconomic background,
I see where you're going with this.
it might unfairly penalize students from different backgrounds whose writing styles don't conform to the dominant norm.
That's a really important point.
It is, and it's why it's absolutely essential to ensure that the data used to train these AI systems is diverse and representative.
It needs to reflect the full range of human experiences.
Precisely.
And we also need to be vigilant about identifying and mitigating bias in these algorithms
Absolutely.
to make sure they're used fairly and equitably.
I completely agree.
It's a good reminder that we can't just assume that technology is neutral or objective.
Right.
We need to be critical thinkers, asking questions about how these AI systems are designed, what data they're using,
Yes.
and what potential biases might be embedded in their algorithms.
We need to be advocates for fairness and equity
At
at the development and implementation of AI in education.
Okay, now let's shift gears and talk about the future of the classroom.
All right.
What are some of the emerging technologies that could transform how we learn in the coming years?
Oh, there are some truly exciting possibilities on the horizon.
I'm eager to hear about them.
Get ready to be amazed because our sources point to some technologies that could revolutionize education.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
One that I find particularly fascinating is biometrics.
Biometrics, that sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
It might sound futuristic,
It does.
but it's closer than you might think.
Really?
Biometrics can be used to recognize and respond to students' physical and emotional states.
So how would that work in a classroom?
Well, imagine a classroom where the learning environment adapts to each student's mood and needs in real time.
Oh, I like that.
So if a student is feeling stressed or anxious,
Yeah.
the AI could adjust the lighting, the temperature, or even the type of learning activities.
To create a more calming and supportive environment?
Exactly.
That's pretty incredible.
It is. And biometrics could revolutionize how we personalize education, catering to the unique needs of every learner.
I'm really intrigued by that concept.
It has a lot of potential.
What other technologies are we looking at?
Another game changer could be augmented reality glasses or even contact lenses.
Wow, that's next level.
They could create these immersive learning experiences,
Oh, yeah.
overlaying digital information onto the real world.
Imagine students in a history class wearing AR glasses.
I know, right?
They could have virtual conversations with historical figures like Abraham Lincoln or Cleopatra.
History could come alive.
It would be amazing.
And the possibilities for other subjects like science, literature, art, and math are equally exciting.
I can only imagine.
You could dissect a virtual frog in biology,
Cool.
explore the solar system in astronomy, step inside a Van Gogh painting in art appreciation.
It's mind-blowing.
AR has the potential to make learning truly immersive and engaging.
It's incredibly exciting to think about.
It is.
And I can't wait to see how these technologies unfold in the years to come.
Me neither.
I think this is a great place to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
It is. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have, from Socrates' skepticism about writing to the potential of AI to personalize and democratize education.
And we explored some of the challenges and ethical considerations
Yes, we did.
that we need to be mindful of as we navigate this new era of learning technology.
Exactly. And I'm really looking forward to continuing our conversation.
Me too.
In the next part of this deep dive, we'll delve even deeper into the future of learning
Sounds great.
and explore what it means to be human in an AI-powered world.
I'm excited for that.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to think about the questions we've raised today. Engage in the dialogue and help shape the future of education.
Absolutely.
The future is in our hands.
It really is. It's definitely a fascinating area we're moving into.
It is.
Full of potential.
Yeah.
Some real challenges, like
Yeah.
we talked about.
Exactly.
Challenges we need to face head on.
And one area where those considerations are so important is assessment.
Assessment, yes.
If AI is going to be personalizing learning,
Right.
how do we measure progress in a way that's meaningful and fair?
That's a big question.
It seems like a huge challenge.
It is. It's something that educators and researchers are really grappling with right now.
Because our traditional methods,
Yeah.
standardized tests, for example,
Right.
they don't always capture the nuances of individual learning journeys.
They tend to focus on memorization
Yeah.
and standardized answers.
Which doesn't really align with this vision of personalized learning we've been talking about.
It doesn't.
So where does AI fit into all of this?
Well, that's where AI can potentially offer some really innovative solutions.
Okay, tell me more.
We're already seeing AI-powered assessment tools being developed, tools that can adapt to individual students' learning styles
Interesting.
and provide more personalized feedback.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all test,
Exactly.
we could have AI systems that create custom assessments
Right.
tailored to each student's strengths, weaknesses,
Yes.
and learning goals.
That's the idea.
And these assessments could go beyond just right or wrong answers, right?
Absolutely. They could analyze students' problem-solving strategies, their critical thinking skills, their ability to apply knowledge in real-world situations.
It's about moving beyond the limitations of traditional testing
Yes.
and creating assessments that are more authentic,
Right.
more engaging,
Right.
and more relevant to what students actually need to succeed.
Those are the skills they need for the 21st century.
Exactly.
AI can help us get there.
It's exciting to think about.
It is, but it's important to remember AI is a tool.
Of course.
Like any tool, it can be used in different ways.
Right. For good or for bad.
We have to be really careful.
Especially with those concerns about bias we talked about earlier.
Yes, that's crucial.
If these algorithms are trained on data that reflects existing inequalities,
Right.
could we end up with assessments that are inherently unfair?
That's a critical point, and it's one that researchers and developers are actively working on.
Okay, good.
One approach is making sure that the data used to train the algorithms is as diverse and representative as possible.
So the AI is exposed to all sorts of different learning styles.
Yes.
Cultural backgrounds, different perspectives.
Exactly. We need that range.
And is there anything else being done to address this?
Yes. Another key strategy is building transparency and accountability into these AI systems.
What does that look like?
We need to be able to understand how these algorithms are making decisions
Okay.
and have ways to identify and correct any biases that might emerge.
So it's an ongoing process.
It is. It's not a one-time fix.
It sounds like there's a lot of work to be done in this area.
There is, but it's encouraging to know that these issues are being taken seriously.
It is.
The potential benefits of AI in assessment are significant,
Yeah.
but we can't reach those benefits without addressing the ethical challenges head on.
Now, talking about assessment and data naturally leads to another important issue.
Yes,
Data privacy.
of course.
With AI collecting and analyzing all this information about students, how do we protect their privacy
Right.
and make sure this data is being used responsibly?
That's a crucial question.
It is.
Data privacy is absolutely paramount.
It is.
And it's something we need to be very thoughtful about as we integrate AI into education.
I agree.
We need clear guidelines, robust safeguards
Yeah.
to protect student data from misuse
Right.
or unauthorized access.
And those guidelines need to go beyond just technical security measures, right?
Absolutely. We need to think about the ethical implications
Yeah.
of how this data is used
Right.
and who has access to it.
So what are some key principles that should guide us?
Well, one key principle is transparency.
Okay, transparency, yeah.
Students and their families need to be informed about what data is being collected, how it's being used, and who has access to it.
And they should have the right to opt out if they're not comfortable with it, right?
Of course, informed consent is crucial.
It is.
We can't assume that just because students are using AI-powered tools, they're automatically consenting to have their data collected and analyzed.
We need to respect their agency.
Exactly.
Give them a voice in how their data is used.
And beyond transparency and consent, we need to ensure that student data is used responsibly and ethically.
So what does that look like in practice?
It means using it only for purposes that directly benefit the student's learning and well-being.
Okay, so no selling student data to third-party companies
No,
for marketing or anything like that,
absolutely not.
or using it to track their movements or online behavior?
No, the use of student data should always be aligned with what's best for the student.
It sounds like there's a lot of work to do.
There is.
In terms of developing these ethical guidelines,
Yes.
best practices for data privacy in this age of AI.
And this conversation needs to include everyone.
Yeah,
Educators, parents, policymakers, researchers, technology developers.
we all need to be at the table.
It's about creating a shared understanding
Yes.
of the ethical responsibilities that come with using AI in education.
Right.
And developing a framework for responsible data governance.
So, taking a step back for a moment,
Okay.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the broader societal implications of AI in education.
That's a big one.
It is. How will this technology affect the future of work
Yeah.
and the skills students need to thrive in this AI-driven world? Those are questions a lot of experts are still debating.
Yeah, it's hard to predict the future.
It is, but one thing's for sure.
What's that?
The nature of work is changing, and it's changing rapidly.
That's true.
AI is a major driver of that change.
It is.
Jobs that were once safe from automation
Right.
are now at risk.
And new jobs are emerging that require skills we haven't even imagined yet.
So our old model of education,
Yeah.
where students learn a set of skills and knowledge,
Right.
and that's supposed to last them a lifetime.
That doesn't work anymore.
It's not enough.
We need to prepare students for a future of lifelong learning,
Absolutely.
adaptability,
Mhm.
creativity,
That's going to be essential.
and AI can play a role in fostering those skills.
How so?
AI can personalize those learning pathways,
Yeah.
provide targeted feedback,
Okay.
create engaging, interactive learning experiences,
Right.
experiences that cultivate critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
problem solving,
Yeah.
collaboration.
It sounds like a major shift in how we think about education.
It is. It's not just about transmitting knowledge anymore. It's
Right.
about giving students the tools
Yeah.
and the mindsets.
They need to navigate this constantly changing world.
It's exciting and a little daunting, isn't it?
It is.
But I believe we can do this. If we approach this challenge with purpose
Mm-hmm.
and a commitment to equity,
Right.
we can leverage AI
Yes.
to create a more just,
Yeah.
equitable, and fulfilling future for everyone.
I love that vision.
It's a vision worth striving for.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier
Peter.
about human-centered AI design.
Yes, human-centered design.
Do you talk more about what that looks like in practice,
Of course.
especially in education?
Well, human-centered AI design means prioritizing human well-being,
Okay.
agency, autonomy, in every stage of development and implementation.
So what does that mean for education specifically?
It means involving teachers and students in the design process.
Okay, so they have a say.
Absolutely. We need
Yeah.
to make sure that AI tools are aligned with their needs and their values.
That makes sense.
And we need to give them the training and support they need to use these tools effectively and ethically.
So it's not just about throwing new technology at teachers and saying, figure it out.
No, it's about empowering them.
To be active participants
Yes.
in shaping how AI is used in their classrooms.
And making sure that AI doesn't replace the human educator.
Because that human element is so important.
It is. AI can automate some tasks, provide personalized feedback, create engaging experiences,
Right.
but it can't replace the human connection,
That's right.
the empathy, the
The
inspiration.
things that make a great teacher.
Exactly.
So it's about finding that balance.
Yes.
Where AI enhances teaching and learning without taking away from the core values of education.
That's the sweet spot we need to find.
And that's what we'll explore more in the next part of our deep dive.
We will?
We'll look at the future of the classroom,
Yeah.
discuss what it means to be human in an AI-powered world,
It's going to be fascinating.
and consider how we can make sure AI is truly serving the needs of all learners.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. But for now, let's take a break and come back refreshed for the final part of our deep dive into the evolution of learning. Welcome back to our deep dive exploring the evolution of learning, We've covered so much ground already,
We have. It's been quite a journey.
and I'm really excited to see where we go from here as we explore what the future holds for education in this world powered by AI.
It's a topic that really captures the imagination, doesn't it?
It does, and as we've talked about,
Yeah.
there are some big questions we need to consider about how we make sure this technology benefits all learners.
Absolutely. Those questions are essential.
You know, as we've been talking,
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about how this isn't just about AI as a technology.
Right.
It's about something bigger.
It is.
It's about fundamental questions about what learning really is, the teacher's role, the kind of future we want to create.
That's a really insightful observation. AI is making us face some of those big questions about education, questions we've been struggling with for ages.
Exactly, like what's the purpose of education?
Yeah.
What are the essential skills and knowledge students need to thrive in this century? How do we create learning environments that are both effective and equitable?
It's almost as if AI is holding up a mirror to our education system,
I like that analogy.
showing us its strengths, its weaknesses, its potential, its limitations,
Forcing us to be honest with ourselves
and to think outside the box.
about how we can use technology to make things better for learners.
Because AI is a tool, it's not a magic solution,
Right.
but it can be a powerful force for change.
So if we could just wave a magic wand and design the perfect AI-powered education system,
Okay.
what would it look like?
What's your vision?
I'm picturing a system that's deeply personalized.
Personalized, yes.
One that recognizes and responds to the unique needs and strengths of every single student.
I love that idea. Imagine every student having their own personalized learning pathway,
Yeah.
tailored to their interests, their goals, how they learn best.
It's about moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach that's been around for so long.
Yes, absolutely.
And really embracing the beautiful diversity of how people think and learn.
It's not just about content delivery either.
Right.
It's about providing the right support.
At the right time.
Exactly. AI could be used to identify students who are struggling,
Yeah.
connect them with the resources they need.
Whether that's tutoring, peer support,
Yeah.
or even just a different way of explaining a concept. It's not about replacing teachers with AI.
No, not at all.
It's about AI helping teachers do what they do best,
And to do it even better.
more effectively, more responsively to students' needs.
And that AI-powered support system, it wouldn't just focus on academic skills.
Tell me more about that.
It could also help students develop those social-emotional skills.
Right. Like resilience.
Yes, resilience, grit, empathy.
Collaboration.
Exactly. The skills that are going to be so crucial in an AI-driven world,
AI could be used to create these personalized interventions,
tailored to each student's needs.
helping them build those essential
It's
skills.
a powerful vision,
It is. One where technology empowers learners and educators.
working together.
And it's not just about individualized learning either, right?
No, it's not. This ideal system would also encourage collaboration,
Yeah.
community building.
AI could connect students who have shared interests,
Mm-hmm.
create virtual learning communities,
Yes.
facilitate collaborations on real-world projects. It's about using technology to create a more connected learning experience.
A more engaging experience.
And ultimately, a more human experience.
And a more equitable one, too.
Oh, absolutely. We can't forget about equity.
AI has the potential to break down those barriers to access,
Right.
making quality education available to everyone, no matter their background or circumstances.
Imagine students being able to learn in their native language thanks to AI-powered translation tools,
It would be incredible.
or AI tutors providing personalized support in underserved communities.
That's the kind of future we need to strive for.
It's a powerful vision of how technology can level the playing field.
Creating a more just and equitable education system where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential.
It's a beautiful vision, but getting there won't be easy.
It won't. It will take a lot of work and collaboration.
Educators, policymakers, researchers, technology developers, all working together.
We also need to be really thoughtful about how we design, implement, and evaluate AI in education.
This is a massive challenge.
It is, but it's one we have to tackle head on.
The stakes are incredibly high.
They are. The future of learning, maybe even the future of society, it depends on how we navigate this new world of AI. I think the key is to always remember that AI is a tool.
It is. It's not the solution in itself.
It's up to us to decide how we use that tool to shape the future.
We have the power to create a more personalized, engaging, equitable, and human-centered learning experience for all.
Or we could let AI reinforce the inequalities that already exist.
But undermine the values that are so important to education.
The choices we make today will have a ripple effect for generations to come.
It's both a huge responsibility and an incredible opportunity.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this thought.
Okay.
The future of AI in education, it's not set in stone.
Right.
It's something we're all actively creating through the choices we make and the conversations we have.
So to everyone listening,
Yes.
keep asking these questions.
Keep learning.
Keep imagining the possibilities.
The future is in our hands.
And I have hope that we can use AI to make education better for everyone.
I do too. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Likewise, thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope it sparked your curiosity, inspired you to think critically about the role of AI in education. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, keep pushing the boundaries.